Okay, so now onwards we are going to animate this Adidas logo reveal animation inside of Cinema 4D. So the procedure is very simple. First of all, we need to create splines from this logo over here. Then we can import that spline into Cinema 4D. So how to do that? Let's see. So let's select this logo first. Now I want splines for this logo. Right now it's just a JPG image, so I want splines. And make sure that whatever logo you want to choose, make sure that these are totally black or something, not with the colored ones or any gradient applied on it, only total black. And now I'm going to select on this option known as image trace, so simply click on it. Then after that I'm going to create expand, so now we will get a proper vector file from that jpg logo. So now I'll select this file, right click, and I'm going to choose ungroup, so it will ungroup all of them. So we have this extra element, so we need to delete that. Also we will get this extra elements over the here, over here, over here, over here. So make sure to check out that in your whatever logo you want to choose. Whenever there is a blank space, there are going to be someone which is filled with white color. So now if I see this, I have something like this. Now I'll select all of them, and over here instead of fill, I'm delete this fill and choose black color for the stroke. So we'll get this kind of stroke. Let's select this and increase the stroke width a little bit, so we'll get proper stroke. Now I'll press Ctrl Shift S and I'll save this file at appropriate position and simply hit save. Then when you are going to get this illustrator option, the version right now it's illustrator 20. Instead of that, I'm going to choose illustrator 8 and simply hit OK and hit OK. So now our file is saved. Now let's go to the Cinema 4D and we'll go to our files. I'll select this illustrator file and I'll simply drag and drop over here, and let's hit yes and simply hit OK. So now as you guys can see, we will get a new Cinema 4D file with this logo. As you guys can see, we have this splines, but when you import that, one thing you need to notice that the size of the spline is very small. For example, if I create the cube over here and I compare the size of this cube as compared to this, which is very small. So first of all, I'll select this spline, and if you see over here, if I maximize that, I'll get different splines for all the objects which are on separated layer. So now I'll select this by holding shift. I'll select this last path, right click, I'll choose connect object plus delete. So I'll get this entire one spline and press T for scaling option, and let's increase the size appropriate the way you want. And now let's delete this cube. Now first thing we will do, we need a proper 3D logo, because if you hit Ctrl R we cannot render our splines. So let's go to the options over here and we are going to choose extrude. I'll select the spline and I'll move inside this extrude. Now let's select this extrude and adjust the width on Z direction, extrusion on Z direction. So I'll choose, let's say 50%. Yeah, this looks good to me, like this. Now we will add our camera in our scene, and let's enable this camera. And as always, I'll go to the coordinates. First of all, I'll bring all the coordinates to 0. To make this 0, only click on left click on this property, so it will automatically come to 0 0, like this. Now let's select this camera, go to the, let's say, right view, press E, and let's move this camera like this, and also adjust the camera, or instead of adjusting camera, let's select this extrude and let's properly adjust at the center like this. Okay, so now my object is properly at the center like this. Let's see. Yeah, if you hit Ctrl R you will get something like this. Select this camera and make sure there is no movement over here in camera. Now let's select this camera, go to the object, and I'm going to increase the focal length of this camera up to, let's say, 70, and then I'm going to move this camera again at the backwards. Okay, if I hit Ctrl R I'll get this logo file over here. Now let's select this extrude by holding shift. I'll delete this spline also, right click and choose connect object plus delete. So now we will get this editable object. After getting this editable object, first of all, whenever you are going to get any editable object, let's select our splines and hit control, not spline but points, hit Ctrl A to select all the points, right click and make sure to choose optimize. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to add my Voronite fracture, but let's adjust our render settings and materials first, then we will focus on animation portion. Okay, so first of all I'll create one background, so I'll choose this plane. I'll press R for rotation and I'll rotate it like this. Okay, and then increase the size properly, and let's go over here at the top view, press E, and let's bring this to the background like this. Okay, if you want, then press and D on your keyboard so you can see the edges properly. Now we will add lights, so I'm going to create a simple light structure. So select area light and go to the top view, press E, press R, and then rotate it like this. Then go to the right view, press E, W, and move this over here. Okay, so if you hit Ctrl R, you will get this light over here. Then select this light and choose shadows area. Okay, so you will get this kind of stuff. Now select this light. If you want, then increase the size of this light also. By holding Ctrl, I'll move this light over here. Press R and then press W and rotate it like this. Okay, so if you hit Ctrl R now, you will get this kind of structure. Okay, now let's create one material. I'll double click and I'll add one material at the background. I'm going to choose, let's say, bluish color to this. Okay, and I'm going to enable, first of all let's go to the hex and we will copy this color code. I'm going to enable my luminance panel. I'll go to the hex and I'll simply paste that color code, and brightness I'm going to make it to somewhere around 80% like this, and let's close this. And if you hit Ctrl R, you will get this kind of background, and double click to create one material and apply to this extrude, and double click and also enable this luminance panel, and we want white color only. And I'm going to decrease the brightness of this one to, let's say, 70%. Okay, so if you hit Ctrl R, you will get this kind of logo over here. Now we want to animate this logo. We will animate this logo with the help of our Voronite fracture. So I'll go to the Move graph and I'll bring my Voronite fracture, and I'll select this extrude and I'll move inside this Voronite fracture and I'll bring this downwards. Okay, so this is for this much procedure. After that, what we need to do, we will see in the next lecture.